All right, welcome to Dawnbringer for day 3 of the League of Legends 2021 World Championships. A little bit harder to bring you the daily recap when the sleep deficit is stacking up day after day, and my alarm keeps going off at the same time, but I'm not necessarily going to sleep any earlier than I normally would. Got to fix that. And B, when it's a rough day for North America. But let's talk about it. Let's work through our feelings together. That's a healthy thing to do. And let's start off by just, and of course you can get a written version of this on oracle.elixir.com if you want to see some notes on that, and then check out the players and teams that I've linked on the site that you can explore their profiles and all of that fun stuff. But let's talk about Detonation Focus Me, because they were the best good news story of the day. They make it through first place in Group B, go straight into the group stage, and that's an historic accomplishment for them. Really cool for the Japanese region, and they earned it. And this was not like some out of the blue kind of out of left field is what I was going for. Event that they were a good team and they earned it. And I think that this was never really a super remote possibility. It was something that was, hey, this could happen. It's a pretty realistic shot, and they made it work. They made it happen. They needed a little bit of help from Unicorns of Love to earn that tiebreaker. But they took the opportunity in front of them, both within the games and overall in the state of the group stage. And they made it work, and off they go. So good on them. Big congratulations, and good luck in the group stage. Now let's talk about Beyond Gaming, and especially about their top laner, Liang, who had a really fantastic game in the tiebreaker. He played Tom Kench. He did great work in lane. I think he was handling and surviving his lane in kind of a matchup you're not supposed to really be in control of early on, and doing a really good job there. And then he turned a 2v1 dive, and he got a double kill in it. Even with, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering right, even with the two divers having a Senna ult to help out. And he won that, and he got 2 kills, was really fed, and then had really key saves on Doggo's Draven to keep those team fights healthy and working. Just an excellent day, and really impressive from him. And I think, it's a little bit hard to say who's going to be favored between Beyond and Galatasaray tomorrow in their best of 5, and they're fighting to earn a chance to then play against Hanwha the next day to make it into groups. That's a really tough road. I think that given the momentum of what they have, I think I see this series really 50-50, and I'm not sure which way I would go. But in neither team, I think, has the best chance to beat Hanwha, even if Hanwha do have some issues and some weaknesses of their own. But with what we did see today, I think we can be really happy with Liang, and Doggo played well, and that's something to feel good about for them. So again, another thing to kind of celebrate for one of these play-in teams. And then, of course, we have to talk about Cloud9, and I know that I don't talk about every team every time, but I talk about Cloud9 every time. North American guy, and it's what a lot of people are interested in. And it was not a good day from them at all. They should have had their easiest opponent of the round robin, and should have beaten them pretty cleanly, but they really struggled. They had the same kind of decision-making issues that we'd seen from them in the other games that hadn't cost them that badly before, but it cost them worse now. The game against UOL started off with just Fudge getting caught, kind of greeting a little bit in his recall. I think that created a bit of a negative start, and then they took that classic terrible Rift Herald kind of fight that they've been doing all along, and UOL rushed it a little bit more and got them and punished them for it. And I think we saw a little bit of Cloud9 in the mid game trying to earn their way back in. They were making their plays. They were going for picks on side lanes when UOL were not managing their map setups well enough, and Cloud9 were kind of jumping that tempo. But at the end of the day, they were just too far behind, and they needed a few more things to go right to make that comeback happen. So that put them into the tiebreaker game where Detonation Focus Me beat them. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about Vulcan having a bad game on the Amumu, and that's part of it. And I also thought, Perks was quite invisible on the Zoe, and individually just kind of bad games from some of the players. Blabber's Olaf got, quite fed and seemed like it would try to do something, but they They misplayed their comp as well. The big issue was they were stacking those dragons very hard, which is, not a super common strategy these days, but it can work, and it was working. And they had the double poke with the Jason Zoe, and so when the soul was coming up and they engaged, they forced an engage like an Amumu Misfortune combo into the mid lane, when really what they should have been doing is kind of backing up, using their poke, which they never really got their poke going, it seemed. Looking for, an exposed target, a low health target before they kind of committed for this, but they got impatient. And that same kind of proactive, aggressive playmaking that can give them a chance to make comebacks when other teams might not, also led them to kind of throw away the game. Not that it was like totally in their favor at that point. They were ahead, but they weren't totally in control. But it was just disappointing. And I think, they always have to find this balance between using their playmaking and an aggressive mindset to put them in a position to get ahead and to make comebacks when they're behind and all these kinds of things. But they have to temper that and read the situations properly and say, you know what, there are situations where we just got to cross map something, or we just got to slow play something. And finding that balance in their aggressive tendency is something that they're really struggling with. And at their worst this year, all throughout the year, that has been the thing that has, I think, bit them the most. And it's a big part of what bit them today. So now they go into the best of fives, and I think you can feel pretty confident as a Cloud9 fan still. They're going to play against either Red Canids or Peace, depending who wins that match tomorrow in Group A. And I think both of those opponents are weaker than what they've been facing in Group B. But you can't take anything for granted. And Cloud9 are going to have to spend tomorrow really talking about maybe they need to narrow down their draft options to stuff that's working a little more consistently for them, or just like doubles down on the way they want to play. And rather, don't play a poke comp if you're going to want to engage all the time. Draft a comp that's meant to engage throughout that comp. Maybe it's that. Maybe it is actually that they can just clean up that mindset and reduce the micro mistakes and stuff like that. So they're going to have to figure some of that out. But I think that they're going to be able to do it, and they're gonna get through. It's just not going to feel as positive or momentum building as it would have been if they got out of the group first, which they had positioned themselves to do. So don't get too down from this, but it is a little concerning and it's a little disappointing, and we move on. On the fantasy note, had a good day. I played two different lineups, and both of them did reasonably well. And I know that there's at least one person who copied my better lineup of the two and placed first in a contest they were in. I have to do some thinking yet, and I'll put up the lineup I'm going to run for tomorrow on Patreon at patreon.com/OraclesElixir. So join along with that. I don't know if I can keep up this streak of hitting every single day, but so far so good. So we'll have some fun with it, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribing there, not just to get the fantasy lineups, but also just to support the other content that I do and support the running of Oracle's Elixir in general. So I appreciate that, and we'll look forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we have a couple of good best of fives. And we'll see who's playing on Saturday for those last two spots in the group stage. All right, that's it for now from me, and thank you for watching.